All right, guys, so in this video, we've got with us veteran oceanfront condo investor, Matt Fries. He's going to spill all the juicy details that you want to hear about crazy guest story, nightmare stays, police officers escorting people out of the unit at 3 in the morning. I mean, the crazy stuff that you want to hear about, Matt's going to tell it all. He's going to also share with you how he stops both Airbnb and his guests from getting free stay. Let's get into the video now.
Originally when I started it, I was available 24/7, and I lost a lot of sleep over it.
And you wouldn't advise anybody to do that?
I don't think it. Nothing really. Like, I do have in my list, if there's water damage, call the front desk.
Yeah.
Because most of these resorts, if they're going to have to turn off the water anyway to the unit, and they're not going to just let the unit flood.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at water issues, they're going to call the front desk anyway.
Yep. All right, so moving right along, let's talk about legal and regulatory issues. Now, I'm going to bring up a hot topic. Do you think that short-term rentals are unfairly targeted by local governments? I'll parlay into that by saying, in the city of Myrtle Beach, there's a 1.5% tax that has to be paid for short terms, and then there's also for Horry County another 1.5% tax. And then South Carolina, the state charges a 10% tax that if you rent on Airbnb, from what I understand, it passes through and the guests pay that.
Right.
So, kind of talk to me about, the local taxes. What's your experience there? Have you had anybody, do you honestly feel like short-term rentals are unfairly, gone after in our market, or?
I don't think about it much. I'm still making a profit, and I mainly rent through Airbnb. So Airbnb handle, like you said, they handle
all the taxes.
Yeah. So as long as I'm still making a profit, then that's all I care about.
Exactly, and I don't blame you. And that's a lot of the advice that I find myself giving a lot of investors. They'll call me on the phone and say, well, the HOA dues are really high, or what are taxes, or they're super concerned about operating costs. But Matt just plainly said, like, with his 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, he's making $40,000 a year in profit.
Right. And
who cares about $600 to a tax?
Right. And I've had a lot of friends who were hyper focused on the cost, not focused on what is the return, that they held off for years before they finally got into buying down here, and then they bought significantly more with the same issues.
They just got past the hurdle in their head.
Right.
And so what we're hoping that you're going to do is pick up the phone and call me, 843-360-1737, so that I can help you get past that hurdle, that initial investment hurdle. I had Jason King on, right? And he bought a $169,000 oceanfront condo. In his first 10 months, he made 11 grand profit.
Oh, wow.
He paid a special assessment too. He still cleared 11 grand profit, right? And he's like, I had all this money sitting, I had 50 grand sitting in the bank. He's like, I was sleeping good with knowing the money was there. But like, after he bought it and saw how much money he could make with oceanfront condos, he was like, shoot, I'm ready to buy another one. And he was on the channel saying the same thing, like, don't let fear hold you back.
Right.
Don't wait 3 years later and then all of a sudden you're paying $100,000 more. I had a guy who was looking to buy, an investor who was looking to buy pre-COVID, and he ended up buying with me a few years later, paid $100,000 more for the same unit.
Right.
You don't want to end up doing that.
Right. They're constantly appreciating.
They are. Yeah. And it's another excellent point. Oceanfront condos, many of them in our market have appreciated over 100%. In other words, if you bought it at $150,000, it's now worth $300,000. Now let's work through a financing scenario purchase. Again, that purchase price is $205,000. The down payment, we have you at 15%. That's $30,750. Yes, we have a lender. His name is Jason King, and he can and does have a 15% down program. When you talk to any of your other lenders, they're going to have a 20 to 25%, and most of the time, 25% down payment program when it comes to investing in an oceanfront condo. These oceanfront condos are considered condotels. They are hotels that were converted into condominiums. So there is a different financing plan that is used to finance oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You have to have a lender that has a plan that can finance it. You cannot use a conventional loan for these unless you were going to make it a primary residence, but that's a conversation for another time. Now, your average gross rental income from 2022 to 2023 was $40,863. Your property management, your Airbnb platform fee was 3% at $1,225.89. Again, bringing you to a subtotal of $39,637.09. Now, your principal and interest on this property was $15,732. That does assume a 7.9% interest rate over 30 years. Your taxes were $2,205.96. That's for 2023. And your cleaning services, again, were $3,600, 30 cleanings at $120 a cleaning. Your excise tax, again, was $373. Your local hospitality and accommodations tax was $1,225.89. And your annualized HOA dues were $8,976. Now, that brings you to a subtotal of $32,112.85. Now, if you subtract your $32,112.89 from your subtotal up top of $39,637, that's again post your 3% Airbnb platform fee, it does leave you with a projected profitability of as much as $7,524.24. Now, if you just increase this projected profitability by only $3,000, let's say you made an additional $3,000, you did a little bit better than that $40,000 like the high units did, then we're talking $10,524.24 in profit using the bank's money. And I've got to stress that to you guys. You're using the bank's money here, leaving you with a cash-on-cash return of as much as 34%. Now, how we calculate that cash-on-cash return with a financing deal is you only technically have $30,750 in the deal. You're using the bank's money. So we simply do a little bit of math there with the profitability of the unit and that $30,750, and you were left with a whopping 34% cash-on-cash return for your money, again, using the bank's money. And just to give a little further clarity, guys, we took the $10,000 in projected profit and we divided it by the $30,000 and some change down payment that you'd have invested in the deal. That's going to give you that 34% cash-on-cash return. Now, I want you to think through this with me. You're putting $30,750 into this deal, and you should walk away with at least $7,500 a year in profit, or $10,524 if you have a stellar year. Guys, that's every year, for the most part, for as long as you own this investment. You've got one $30,000 down payment you're paying, and you're pulling in every year $7,000 to $10,000 a year like clockwork. Now, we can never guarantee future profits, of course, but we can tell you how these units have performed historically. And based on our historical evidence, you should pull in between $7,000 and $10,000 a year in profit for only a one-time $30,000 down payment on your unit. Depreciation. Let's talk through depreciating your short-term vacation oceanfront condo rental. Now, short-term rentals can be depreciated over 39 years. And with a $205,000 purchase price, that gets you a taxable income deduction of as much as $5,256.41. Now, guys, for you high-income earners, you definitely want to talk to your CPA about doing a cost segregation study on your short-term vacation rental property. Cost segregation studies can enable you to write off as much as $15,000 to even $30,000 just in your first year of ownership, if that's what you choose to do. And I will throw out there that you can develop strategies where you purchase an oceanfront condo, do cost segregation studies, sell oceanfront condos, purchase more, and do more cost segregation studies, again, for your high income earners to offset the taxes that you're paying. But you need to talk to your CPA about that and verify what's applicable for you. All right, guys, let's get into the Turtle Bay Cafe. As you can see here, super cool spot, great little place to eat, great little bar. And as you can see, some very cool drinks. People tell me the drinks are great here. It's like a good deal. You get some great food. And that's the Turtle Bay Cafe. Click the screen now to see the next part of the interview with Matt Fries.